This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Yes, there's a chill in the air, but man, it is warm and toasty here in the studio. Ray D, Kenny B at your service, and hopefully some of the stories we have for you this week will help warm your hearts.
Yeah, our cameras were out and about and captured some pretty amazing footage. So coming up, from battling the elements to the trials of a tough harvest, discover the story of resilience and hope on the fields of Braswell Family Farms. From hydroponics to mental health counseling, how the Georgia Korean American Farmers Association is transforming farming and supporting their community. And then later, one man's life forever changed in the blink of an eye. Witness the incredible resilience of this Henry County farmer and the power of unity after a car accident nearly destroyed his livelihood. These stories and so much more right now on the Farm Monitor.
And we're off and running. So too are those peanut harvesters here in Georgia. But it certainly hasn't been an easy journey getting to this point. Our John Holcomb explains from Seminole County.
For a farmer, there's nothing quite like seeing the fruits of your labor come to fruition, and farmers here in Georgia are getting to do a lot of that as the 2023 harvest season is in full swing. One farmer who's busy doing that now is Jeff Braswell, a peanut producer in Seminole County, who has been busy in his fields after quite the growing season.
It was a tough growing season this year from the onset. I farm, the majority of what I farm in regards to peanuts is probably dry land. I probably draw 2/3 of my peanut crop is dry land peanut crop, with the other 1/3 being irrigated. So it was tough for us at the onset with moisture. We didn't get the rains that we needed to be able to plant. We were able to work it in so that when we did get the rain, we were able to get to the field and get them in. I think our stand was probably not as good this year as it has been in the past, but we had a decent stand to begin. Got them up, got them going, and we had some decent rains early on. But later on in the season, probably maybe 2/3 of the way through the season, we began to see a lack of rain and an increase in heat.
According to Braswell, because of that lack of rain combined with the hot South Georgia heat they had this summer, he says the plants really took a hit.
The pressure begins to impact the plant itself. The heat pressure does by way of maturity and filling out those pods, as well as you typically see an increase in insect pressure as a result of the heat as well, the weakening of the plant. Irrigated peanuts, even those, we have the ability to put water there, but it was a fight for those to even go against the heat that we were seeing throughout the summer.
However, the growing season is in the rearview mirror, as Braswell says they are well into this season's harvest, but says that so far, getting the crop out of the field this year has been just as challenging as growing it.
Harvest has been kind of tough for me in regards to trying to get these dryland peanuts up. We have actually started the harvest season digging some peanuts at only 120 days, where we typically hold those to about 140, just because we had some kernels turning loose in the holes, and you always run a risk of seg3 or aflatoxin, or if you get rain to come in, those sprouting and losing those. So we felt that it was better to go ahead and begin early, which as a result gave us some lower grades at the onset of the season. Plus we had a lack of rain there, so we had to kind of work as best as we could to get those up as quickly as we could in between what showers we were getting. So it was initially tough. It hadn't really got into the irrigated peanuts yet. We're just beginning to get into those, because they are going to full maturity, which would be beginning this week. So we're looking forward to seeing how those turn out, and hopefully an increase in yield and grade on those.
Reporting in Iron City for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
You know, Georgia has this amazing reputation as one of the most diverse agricultural hubs in the U.S., but it's not just the range of commodities that the state grows. It's also about the farmers behind it all. David Jones reports there's one organization aiming to support minority farmers in a big way.
Believe it or not, Georgia is home to more than 50,000 Korean Americans, making it one of the top 10 states in the country when it comes to population. That's why organizations like the Korean American Farmers Association are so important, as it provides those interested in agriculture all the valuable information needed to succeed.
Since we didn't know much about farming, we tried to take this role on as our purpose in life. So since then, we've organized formally in 2019 to reach out and educate about USDA's supporting programs.
Despite the name, the association is open to all, with more than half of their nearly 200 members not being of Korean descent. It's that all-inclusive attitude that is represented on their new operation in Barrow County.
We thought, oh yes, we'll take over the land, turn it into a farm, do all the Korean vegetables, and it would be a great thing to show to the, neighbors here. However, our purpose keeps on growing. Our purpose is to show everybody how to coexist.
Thanks to a new USDA grant, their goals have expanded to provide mental health counseling and even educational classes.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a path all over the 6.6 acres so that elderly and the disabled will have full access to everywhere on this property. We're gonna show everybody how to do the composting. We're gonna show everybody how best to utilize the materials and support that the USDA gives.
That support extends to the University of Georgia as well, with the organization looking into some non-traditional ways of growing food on the new site.
Recently, this past couple of days, he's called me and said he's looking at some hydroponics type work. And with hydroponics mainly being water, he said, could you come help us and talk about what we need to do and think about and help us figure out what we need to do with the hydroponics project. So it's kind of a growing initial part of it, but that's kind of where we're heading, is looking at some of the hydroponics stuff they're thinking about doing here on the farm.
USDA hopes this new farm will be another example of how farmers and government agencies can successfully work hand in hand.
There's always folks out there that have doubts, concerns about whether the agency is going to help them, particularly the federal government. So it at least open up the doors that they know that if so-and-so can do it, then we can do it as well. The program and the agency is designed to help new and beginning farmers. We offer 90% cost share assistance to help provide that service. All they have to do is become a valid customer with our sister agency, the Farm Service Agency.
Reporting from Barrow County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Well, no doubt farming is a labor of love, and this Henry County producer faced a tough obstacle when a car accident threatened both his love for farming and his livelihood. How an entire community rallied behind him and sustained his operation when the Farm Monitor continues.
How healthy is your soil? When scientists talk about soil health, they're usually concerned with the soil composition. How nutrient-rich the soil is, its ability to retain moisture, and the amount of organic matter in the soil are all factors to consider when assessing soil's health. In the southeastern United States, conventional tillage and long fallow periods, or lengths of time where arable land is left unplanted, have resulted in a significant loss of organic matter in soil. This, in turn, has led to soil organic matter oxidation and erosion. An ARS scientist in Raleigh, North Carolina, developed a new method of calculating soil organic carbon sequestration that does not require detailed side-by-side comparisons or lengthy investigations over time.
I'm Alan Franslebers. I'm a research ecologist with the USDA Agricultural Research Service in Raleigh, North Carolina. When I started my career 30 years ago, I observed that soils in the southeastern United States were highly degraded and very low in organic carbon. There was good evidence that carbon in the soil could be increased if we left the soil undisturbed, and that carbon accumulates at the surface. The root zone enrichment approach is a unique opportunity for us to bypass the need for multiple samplings over time Typically, carbon sequestration would be determining carbon stock today and then 5 years later or 10 years later. Whereas the root zone enrichment can be used by researchers or private landowners, where they take an estimate of the carbon distribution in soil and calculate the root zone enrichment. And essentially, we're getting a pretty good estimate of the carbon storage potential without this need for sampling over time. We can get onto many more fields than a few fields that have to be sampled periodically.
Since farmers can potentially benefit from ecosystem markets that make payments based on the amount of carbon stored in the soil, this approach will be an economical one for improving rural prosperity and agro-ecosystem qualities.
Well, this time of year, we're all counting our blessings and giving thanks for something. Maybe our health, our loved ones, or in the case of Russell Brightson, thankful to be alive. Earlier this year, his life took an unexpected turn when a devastating car accident left him grappling with injuries that hindered his ability to tend to his beloved farm in Henry County. Thankfully, Russell and his family found an unexpected beacon of support from his friends at the community farmers markets.
So we're on 12 acres. Of that, we farm around 7 acres with a mixture of fruits and vegetables. We've been here since 2015, December 2015, and we've been farming full-time since around 2017.
Russell Brightson is the heart and soul of Narrow Way Farm. His dedication and passion for farming sustains his family and provides fresh produce for restaurants, wholesalers, farmers markets, basically anyone in need. However, on March 30th of this year, fate had something else in store for him. After the first market of the season, Russell was driving back to his farm when a car accident left him injured and his van totaled.
I remember, came up to the light, was coming up to the light was turning red. I was a little annoyed because the guy in front of me slowed down, so we missed the light. And we waited there. The light turned green arrow, and then he turned and I turned afterwards. And halfway through the turn, boom, fractured my sternum. Ended up in the trauma center at Grady, till the morning, and still recovering. Just thankful because sometimes my sons go with me to market, so I was just happy that no one's in the passenger seat because there's no more passenger seats. So it's if that had happened, we'd be having another conversation. So.
Now, don't get me wrong. Not that there's ever any good time for a car accident, but in Russell's case, his accident, the broken sternum, it couldn't have come at a worse time. The spring crops, they were ready to be harvested, and the summer crops, well, they had to be planted as soon as possible. This left Russell and his family very concerned about how they would catch up while he continued to heal from his injury.
We're getting all the beds ready. We planted out all the tomatoes and finishing up the lettuce and things like that. So if we're delayed a month or two, that's a big impact to us financially. So I was ready to kind of get back up and running. And it's like a worst case scenario, a week, maybe a week and a half. And I realized I had difficulty just sitting up, just laying down, couldn't roll to one side or not. So it was kind of a humbling experience, and it kind of, for that time, it slowed me down, and I was able to, I made use of the time. We kind of spent a little more time as a family during some of those times, and yeah, so it was rough. That was a couple weeks.
One thing about farmers, no matter the size of their operation or how much they produce, when one goes down and is staring adversity in the face, typically others band together to support that person and their family. That's exactly what happened in Russell's situation, as the community farmers markets wasted no time in lending a hand.
Our farmers are so supportive of each other, and you know, the job of a farmer it's so hard, and I think that they all really are able to empathize if something goes wrong. So many farmers were able to jump in and help him and just support, you know, spread the fundraiser that we did for him, and even come out and help do some work on his farm as well. So, you know, it's one of the things I love, and it's why we have the name Community Farmers Markets, because that element is so important, and that's kind of the strength to what we bring to the work that we do.
It's a joy, man. You know, it's to realize that people care about you, you know, because in this world we live in, people caring about you is not a common thing. It's not a common thing at all. So to know that, hey, you know what, there's someone that cares about you and want to see you succeed, and are willing to take time out of their day to make a little sacrifice to come out. So yeah.
Have you replaced the van? Or?
Yes, actually, the same organization, CFM, they actually donated the van. They had an old market van. It had a cracked windshield, and it was just sitting there in the parking lot. And they said, hey, you know what, Russell, we have this van. You know, it's not the prettiest thing, but you know, it might work for you.
As the farmers market season continues, Russell Brighton is back on his feet, grateful for the unwavering support from his friends and fellow farmers at CFM. But if there is one thing he has taken away from this entire process, it is this.
Told me to pace myself and kind of be more moderate in all things, kind of a thing. So it's allowed me to do that. And you know, it also taught me to appreciate others. You know, sometimes you're helping somebody out, you know, you're not thinking of getting a return back, but there's a point in time that you might need help as well. So yeah, you know, it's just be kind to one another, and you know, do what's best for each other. So.
When we come back, the surprising impact of wildfires on fish species and how the U.S. Forestry Service is working to ensure the delicate balance of nature stays intact.
A lot of national forests are watersheds for communities, for their water supply. And sedimentation and ash in their water supply can disrupt the equipment that they have to treat water. But the rains haven't come yet, and they will. When it rains hard and the water can't infiltrate in the soil, it's going to immediately start going downhill and pick up speed. And as it picks up speed, it's going to carry everything it encounters along with it. My name is Tom Giamra, and I'm here on the burned area emergency response team as a soil specialist. All the resource areas are here: wildlife, recreation, archaeology, geology, and roads. We're here to mitigate the effects of precipitation events after the fires. We want to know what's going to happen when the big rain events come. The first thing, and probably our most important task, is take satellite imagery, go out there and we validate it on the ground, in the forest, in the burned area. Confirm that if the satellite is telling us that this is a high severity burn, we want to see if it really is. The initial satellite imagery was showing a lot of high severity. Our analysis indicated that there's probably a lot less high severity than what the imagery showed. When you pass through an area that's probably showing up as high burn severity, you probably have lost all the canopy and all the vegetation on the ground. All the litter and duff is gone. Everything's burned off. Moderate, you probably still have some needles and leaves on the trees, and we kind of saw that as we came in too. And when you get into low, like we're in real low right here, and there's a lot of green still up there. Some of the lower leaves and needles have burned off here or are brown, but some of these trees are going to survive because they got a nice green canopy left on top. The first thing we check for is soil hydrophobicity. So it's water repellency. It's often derived by compounds that occur in the vegetation, tannins and oils, things like that. So when they become part of the soil, that affects the water repellency of the soil. We use a water bottle. It's a simple water drop test. We put a drop of water and time how long it takes for that to sink into the soil. Sometimes it beads up really strongly, and we'll call that strong hydrophobicity. Sometimes it'll infiltrate immediately. That'd be no hydrophobic soils. Ideally, we want low hydrophobicity or none, because when it rains, we like to see the soil become saturated and not go down slope and not carry soil with it. We want to prevent sedimentation in the streams. We want to prevent debris flows, but we do our best, and sometimes we will actually implement treatments that can mitigate the erosion and stream sedimentation. For the wildlife people and the fish biologists, that is a value at risk.
Anytime there's a large wildfire, like the one that's happened here on the Smith River complex, the Forest Service will get together a burned area emergency response to do an assessment on what kind of damage occurred from the fire and is there anything that we can do about it. I'm Eric Merton. I'm a fish biologist here on the Bear team. We're looking at, is there anything we can do to reduce effects from the fire on fish species? On average, fires benefit fish, and so that's unexpected to some folks. On average is the important thing. That doesn't mean you don't have the occasional events that are harmful. In this part of the country, just last year, the McKinney fire occurred, and in that case, there was a large sediment pulse that got into one of the rivers there and ended up killing a lot of fish. A number of things happen after fire when a fire burns an area. The most direct effects on fish are if a riparian area burns. Sometimes it doesn't. Like right here, we're in the middle of the Smith River complex fire right now, but this particular riparian area didn't burn at all. Wildfire can be good and bad for fish. Severe wildfire is more likely to kill fish and to have harmful effects, whereas a lighter burn is more likely to be beneficial to fish. But the fine sediments, the sand, the silt, the stuff that muddies up the water and fills in pools, that's a problem. It can clog the gills of fish so they literally can't breathe and suffocate. Depending on how much organic content there is in the sediment that's getting in, it also can, take the oxygen out by increasing bacterial growth. In the longer term, it'll wreck the habitat. It'll fill in pools. It can cause a major problem for the habitat quality, and that can take a long time for that material to get flushed back out again and for the systems to recover. For most of the streams that are here, this fire is beneficial. But there's probably some areas where it might be more severe and where we might have excess sediment that's coming in and where it's causing a problem. This particular area didn't burn, but if we look at our burn severity map, 12 Mile Creek right up there burned hot. That was one of the hottest burning drainages in this whole fire. And so our soil scientists are going to look at 12 Mile Creek and that area around it to see what's going on with soil potential for movement. Our hydrologists will do some modeling as well, and we'll find out how likely is it that sediment is going to get from 12 Mile Creek into Patrick Creek, and from there, of course, it could move down into the Middle Fork, Smith River, so you could have this whole chain of events that potentially can happen. We're making sure that we're doing everything we need to do to help minimize damage to ESA fish, as well as to promote their recovery.
As always, great work by the U.S. Forestry Service, but bad news, we're out of time.
Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Stay safe and have a great week.